first two picks in the NBA draft will meet tonight in Las Vegas. Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs play Brandon Miller and the Hornets at 9 Eastern on ESPN. And our Seth Greenberg says the number one pick and his team will start learning things tonight.
How can we put him in the best position to be successful with this body type? You will not see him banging in the low post. You're going to see him on the perimeter handling the ball. You're going to see him in pick and pops. You're going to see him in short rolls as a passer.
Seth Greenberg. Live golfer Matthew Wolff tells Sports Illustrated it's heartbreaking that teammate Brooks Koepka would criticize him during Wolff's mental health challenges. Koepka said earlier he had given up on Wolff, saying he wasn't working hard. Third round at Wimbledon right now on ESPN and ESPN+. Novak Djokovic and Stan Wawrinka on serve early in the first set. Alex Morgan and Lindsey Horan are named captains of the U.S. soccer team for the Women's World Cup. The Americans' first match is 2 weeks from tonight against Vietnam.
I'm Freddie Coleman, and coming up on Monday, who is facing more pressure heading into the NFL this season? Justin Fields in Chicago or Jordan Love in Green Bay? You'll hear my answer at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Muse, I'm hearing an echo in my ear. Glad to have you aboard with us here from Pluckers. There we go. It was back in studio. From Pluckers on Blue Mountain, we're glad you're with us here on a Friday edition of AFR. We got a ton to get to today, and glad to have you hanging out. It is a special day that we're here at Pluckers. You've been hearing, I know there's a lot of you listening on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, ESPN 104.1 Lake Charles, 93.7 in Alexandria, who maybe aren't locked into our station here in Baton Rouge throughout the day. But Istrouma High School has been a great community school in Baton Rouge for nearly a century, and it's famously where Heisman Trophy winner Billy Cannon attended. And it's a school that is in desperate need of resources and help. And Sid Edwards, who's been a great coach in many different places, from Catholic High and Jesuit and Redemptorist and Central, ties to Nichols as well. And he's now the new head coach at Istrouma and is trying to revive that program and, quite honestly, needs help. And so we're using our platform today to help a great community school try to get the boost that they need. And we're thrilled to do that. We, if nothing else, are raising awareness for it. Hopefully, many people who already have donated, we thank them, and many people will continue to help donate just to get this football program equipment they need, things like helmets and shoes and uniforms, incredibly, that they're in need for. And we're hopeful to be able to help do some of that today. So a ton to do. By the way, I'm really excited about this. In about 15 minutes, Maason Smith, LSU defensive lineman, we got him for 2 segments, candidly spoke to Maason this morning. They have team-led workouts this afternoon, so he couldn't be here this afternoon. But Maason sat down with me for about a 30-minute conversation. We broke it up into 2 parts, and we covered everything, from the injury, the rehab, how the offseason is going, his relationship with Brian Kelly, his third defensive line coach in as many years, getting ready to play Florida State, his personal goals, draft, all of it. We covered that with Maason Smith, and you'll hear that interview coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. Sunday is round 1 of the MLB Draft. So today is the day when you're seeing a lot of the final mock drafts sort of percolate a little bit. Our buddy Kylie McDaniel from ESPN, as he told us on the show last Friday that he would likely do, he has made a change at the top, and he does have Paul Skeens going number 1 overall to Pittsburgh, with Dylan Cruz going number 2. By the way, here was, Muse, can we play this? This was Kylie McDaniel on AFR 1 week ago today on that Cruz-Skeens debate at number 1 overall.
I've had those two and Florida Athlete White Langford as my top 3 players for, months, like pretty much everybody has. And I have had Cruz, then Langford, then Skeens as my rankings for a couple months now. And I'm basically have decided that I'm going to change that. And I've been running it by other people that I think are very good evaluators in the industry. I was just at an event with, 200 scouts there. And I was taking a poll of like the people that I think are the smartest, not everybody, but the people that I think are the smartest. And every single one of them had a slightly different reasoning and slightly different order. And I think everyone's going to end up with a slightly different version of it. What I can tell you is the sort of moral of the story, the big takeaway, is all three of them will be between like 10 and 19 on my top 100 when they sign. So it doesn't really matter what order you put them in because they're all so close and so elite at the same time that it's just kind of three co-number one.
So we'll see ultimately what direction he chooses to go, or what direction the Pirates choose to go. For whatever it is worth, here are the absolute latest odds at DraftKings. They've got Wyatt Langford from Florida now, the odds on the betting favorite to be the number one overall pick. Wyatt Langford's at plus 140, Paul Skeens at plus 225, and Max Clark, the high schooler out of Indiana, who we've talked about, is at plus 400. So Wyatt Langford of Florida, now the new betting favorite to be number one. Again, and by the way, Dylan Cruz is now plus 500. He's got Dylan Cruz now has the fourth best odds to go number one overall. And we all know the reason here. Dylan Cruz and his representatives have been very clear. He's not going to take a deal. As a matter of fact, Dylan Cruz may be asking for over slot value. If that's the case, and Pittsburgh, again, notoriously cheap, they don't want to pay that price, then they won't. And what we'll see happen is someone else who is willing to take less to go number one overall, go number one. And that seems like that may well now be Wyatt Langford from Florida. So we'll keep an eye. What I wanted to do here, and we'll know that on Friday definitively, or excuse me, on Sunday. What I wanted to do here, for a moment anyway, I wanted to run through the other names you need to know, things you need to consider for this draft starting this weekend. And what we know, of course, is what's going to happen there at the top with Skeens and Cruz in whatever order they may go at the top. But the LSU signing class, the baseball signing class, I want to give you an idea of who else to keep an eye on here. And we'll run through this a little bit. So there's two prospects who there is virtually no chance they show up on campus. Blake Mitchell, the catcher out of Sinton, Texas. You've seen him in everybody's mock draft as a top half of round one guy. There's virtually no chance that Blake Mitchell shows up on campus. And the other is Cameron Johnson, the lefty out of IMG Academy. He's a 6'4 lefty who throws 100. Dudes that are 6'4 lefties that throw 100 don't pitch in college baseball. So Blake Mitchell and Cameron Johnson are not going to show up on campus. They're going to get drafted early. They're going to sign. Don't expect to see them. There's two other players that are essentially 50-50 propositions. It's going to matter, do they get the number that they're seeking? And if they don't get the number they're seeking, are they willing to come off their number? You hear this all the time. A guy may have a number of $2 million, and if he doesn't get $2 million, he's going to campus. Well, a team could come and say, we're not going to give you 2. Would you take 1.7? And then you got a decision make because someone's offering to pay you $1.7 million. It's not your asking number of 2, but it's sure close, so what do? The two guys that are going to have that decision to make are Ashton Larson and Stephen Milam. Ashton Larson is he's an outfielder from Overland Park, Kansas. Milam is an infielder from Las Cruces, New Mexico. So those are the two that you're going to keep an eye on that you're going to sweat out to see how the draft plays out for them and if they end up on campus at LSU. The rest of the class, they're all expected to be here. Surprises can happen. It's the draft. Sometimes that does happen. We see guys who they're expecting to be on campus end up signing. Sure, it can happen, but MJ Seo out of Plano, Texas, he's an infielder. He's expected to be here. Austin Rowling, an infielder from California, expected to be here. Dallas Dale, an outfielder from Florida, expected to be here. Caden Wilson, a lefty from Missouri, expected to show up on campus. Jake Brown, they're very excited about Jake Brown. He's a two-way guy. He's a left-handed pitcher who will also play in the field. He's out of Sulphur. He's the best player in the state. He's expected to be here. Dylan Thompson, he's an infielder from Moss Bluff, Louisiana. He's expected to show up. And then Sebastian Gonzalez out of Florida, a righty, expected to be here. The only ones that are commitments that are not, aside from the draft ones we mentioned. Trenton Lape is an infielder out of Bossier City. He's had his second Tommy John surgery. He is not expected to be part of this class. Jackson Birch, he's a lefty out of Central. He's expected to go to Delgado. Also, John Cassidy Vanek out of Lake Charles. He's expected to go the JUCO route as well. So if I'm going to boil it down to you, you're not getting Mitchell or Johnson on campus. The two you got to sweat are Ashton Larson and Stephen Milam. And then Trenton Lape, Jackson Birch, and John Cassidy Vanek all look like they're not going to be a part of this class, with Birch and Vanek going JUCO, and Lape, I'm not sure what he's going to do, but he's at his second Tommy John, and it's not likely to be part of this class. So that's kind of how it looks right now, but for the most part, you are going to keep this class really well intact, with the exception of Mitchell and Johnson, and you're going to keep an eye on Larson and Milam. Those are the two that you're really going to sweat here over the course of this weekend, with the draft starting on Sunday. Okay, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Friday edition. We're at Pluckers on Bluebonnet, brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Always encourage you to go check out our friends over at Don Juan. Great place to unwind, have a cocktail, enjoy a cigar, watch the game, just let the time fade away. It's Don Juan Cigar Bar. Great spot. We appreciate them, as always, for being great sponsors here on AFR. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. I'm excited about this. Sat down earlier today with Maason Smith, LSU defensive lineman, and we got two segments with him. It was about a half-an-hour interview, so we broke it into two segments. So we're going to let you hear the first part of our interview when we come back, detailing the injury itself, his rehab from the injury, how the offseason has gone. All of that, we'll delve into it with Maason Smith. When we come back from Pluckers on Bluebonnet, we're here benefiting our friends at Istrouma High and Coach Sid Edwards in the football program there. We'll continue on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel in Baton Rouge. Actually, right down the street. I can see it from here, as a matter of fact, just out the window. We're at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Right down the way is the Renaissance. But, of course, you can see it. It's right there. It's the Baton Rouge General. Then right over there is the Renaissance. One of Baton Rouge's premier hotel properties. And with the Renaissance, of course, mother-in-law's coming in from out of town for the holidays or whatever holiday, and you're not really anxious to have her stay in the spare room. Of course, the Renaissance is a great spot, but it's also a great spot to go enjoy dinner tonight. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel, casual upscale dining. That's the Renaissance Hotel. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Of course, also, if you're hosting an event, our friends at the Renaissance Hotel, they always say we're in the business of saying yes. Call Allison Crump over at the Renaissance Hotel. She's awesome. She'll help you get organized for whatever event it is that you're trying to host for whatever size gathering. It's the Renaissance Hotel right here, not far from where we are at Pluckers, on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Back here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Great day, man. A lot of folks coming through from the Istrouma High football team and the Istrouma High community. If you're just joining us, yeah, shout out, guys. There's Coach Sid over there. If you're just joining us here, hopefully do a great thing today and raise awareness for the Istrouma High program and Coach Sid, and hopefully raise some money as well for this football program that's getting jump-started, needs equipment and gear and things as simple as cleats and helmets and everything. So I know on all of our social media, our station social media, we've got it linked if you want to contribute. They got an ambitious goal of raising $25,000, but they're already almost there. So I think they're past $23,000, so we could push forward and push them past it today. So no amount too small. If you can help, we'd certainly appreciate it. You can get to any of our social media and catch those links. Maybe, Muse, if you wouldn't mind posting a link in the chat, we'd in the Body Forward YouTube chat, we'd appreciate that as well. Had a great opportunity earlier today to visit with LSU defensive lineman Maason Smith. And, of course, Maason is a fascinating character because he was the #1 defensive lineman in the country. He's a 5-star. Mike Detillier always said to us that he was the best big man he's ever scouted coming out of the Bayou area. And Maason Smith came here as a freshman in 2021 and played in 9 games, battled some injuries, but when he was on the field, he was a freak show. He was unstoppable. And then with all of the ambition going into last year, we know what happened. He tears the ACL in his left knee on the first defensive series of the season against Florida State, and thus began the long rehab process and getting to this point where he's primed and ready for what everyone hopes is going to be a massive junior year. Maason Smith's part of the G team with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. We're good enough to help facilitate this with us. It's a 2-part conversation. We hope you enjoy our visit with LSU defensive lineman Maason Smith.
It's been going very well, just working day by day just to get my body back to how it was before I got hurt, and just trying to overcome these quick obstacles before the season, before fall camp.
So you mentioned before you got hurt, was that the first time you've really dealt with a significant injury in your career?
For the most part, yeah, it was. I'd always thought to myself that I would never be one of those guys to tear my ACL or anything like that. But yeah, it was really my first real major injury. I dealt with a little shoulder injury here and there, and then something in my leg my freshman year, but major injury. So.
Yeah, it cost you it cost you a full
games,
season.
Yeah.
Well, no, the ACL cost you a full season. So, how do you feel right now?
As in mental state.
No,
physically.
Physically after the knee injury. How do you feel?
I feel great. When I first got out of surgery, I had a little bit of weight that I had to shed off, just to help out with my rehabilitation with my knee. I was up to maybe 325. I then got back down to 310, 315, around that range. So it's been a lot better for my overall health with my knee. But the training staff that we have always does a great job, and they always take care of me whatever I need. If I got a little knick-knack after a workout or a player-led practice, I can always get it checked up on right then and there.
So that's the tough part, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you have an injury like that, you can't move, you're going to gain a little weight.
Yeah.
So do you still do you still notice it at all?
I mean, here and there. Like, it isn't really. I feel like something like that, and for it to be so close from each other, from when it happened to now, from after surgery, I feel like you always gonna feel a little something, but it's not nothing. Like when I walk, I don't feel it. Like it's only when doing certain things, it just different pressure points that it has around the knee, and like for example with mine, like I have patella tendonitis now from my surgery, so sometimes I feel that, but I think I got a stem cell injection in it, so it's been fine also. Like
Stem cells are crazy.
Yeah, they work like that.
It's. I mean, we could do a whole episode just on stem cells. It's like the wave of the future. But it is always interesting when a guy battles. I don't want to just talk about the injury the whole time, but coming back from that. Can we go back though and talk though? Because you and I haven't talked about this, about what actually happened. I don't know that you've actually. We've all seen the play, right? You're trailing the play, you kind of jump and land awkwardly. Yeah. From your point of view, like what do you remember? Like what happened?
I could tell you the whole thing. I remember I was lined up at nose. I was in the shade, and I was on the right side of the line, so the boundary must have been on this side. So I was at the nose at the shade spot, and I remember the center went. The offensive line, it was like a zone right play or something like that, but it was like a trick run, like a pin and pull. So the center went to the left of me, and I remember the guard came over, and I moved the guard, and I could just see the running back. And as I was grabbing the running back, the two pulling guards had got me, so I was holding on, and then I let go. And then I just remember seeing one of my good friends, Major Burns, make the play, and I'm running after. And, like, I never really thought anything about it just because I've been doing that my whole life. Like, if you go back to my high school film, I jump up in there. Practice, I always jump in there, like, cause I'm not a sloppy big dude. So like all my moves, all my movements never had anything happen or anything. So I didn't really think anything about it. But when I came down, it felt like my knee shifted back and forth, like just like buckled and came back in. And I knew something was wrong, but I didn't think I tore my ACL. I just thought like, I don't even know. Like at first they didn't even know I tore it. Just because my knee wasn't swelling like that. But, yeah, came back, tore my ACL meniscus, yeah.
When did they tell you that was the injury?
They told me right when I walked in the locker room.
Oh, so they knew?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you didn't know right away.
I didn't know. But when I went into the tent, they were, like, pulling on it, and it separated. And then right when I walked in the locker room, one of our head trainers, Miss Mickey, she told me that she thought I had tore it.
Yeah. Doing this job for as long as I have, you talk to a lot of, I mean, it's a physical game, a lot of guys get injured. So we talk to a lot of guys who have battled injuries in their career. And a lot of times I hear guys say throughout the rehab process, sometimes there's low moments because you're not out there with your team and it's just...
For sure.
Did you go through any of that, watching your team have this great year?
I mean, yeah, of course I did. Like, just playing in the SEC championship, playing against Georgia, which was my second choice coming out of high school. Like, and I got a lot of friends on their team, so I just watching them, achieve a lot of things. And I wouldn't even want to say without me, but at the same time, like without me, like it definitely did touch home. But at the same time, I was living through the season through my boys like Perk, Majors, J-Roy, all them, Quincy Wiggins, all them guys. I was living through them. So, I mean, it wasn't at the same time that I was at the crib chilling while they was out playing. It wasn't never really, I was always there still. Like, I always felt like I was still there. But there definitely was times where, like, it would be hard for me to watch or go to practice or something like that. But, I mean, it come and go, but it's all good.
Maason Smith is our guest. So you go through that season, and now you're rehabbing and transitioning to get to this season, your junior year, with tremendous expectation. We got to see you do more in spring than I think a lot of us thought we were going to see you do. Yeah. When did you really start to feel like I'm me again?
Honestly, before the season ended, like if you ask me, I mean, but this ain't true. But if you ask me, I could have played the Texas A&M game. Like that, I felt like I was good. Like at that point, I was running for a minute then like honestly, like my rehabilitation process, I felt like it all went so fast just because like 1 week I was running, then like after a week and a half, 2 weeks of running, I'm starting to jump again, and then I'm on the jump rope, then I'm jumping on boxes, and after I got off my crutches, it just went from there. Like, but like yeah, it just I don't know.
It's helpful to be a genetic freak.
Yeah.
That's what you are. Like but you've always been that guy. Like, I mean, I remember, Mike Detillier would come on our show every Thursday for like 10 years. And when you were just maybe a freshman or sophomore, he told us, he's like, he'd say, hey, you got to see this. I've never seen a big man from the Bayou in 30 years of doing this like Maason Smith. So you've always had that expectation. But you've always seemed like a guy that embraces that as well.
I've never lived anything other than it. Even in high school, even in junior high school, like I just always held myself to a certain standard. When I was playing Little League ball, I felt like I wanted to be the best out there. So it was always just trying to match what people thought about me. It was kind of like I'll tell you personally, like going into my 9th and 10th grade year, I wasn't me, but I was still good. But just how people thought about me and how people talk 5-star guy, #1 player in the state, I felt like I had to work to be that guy. So that's always really what it was. But I've never played a game without pressure on my shoulders. So it's like I feel like I don't even know how to play without it. So that's why I don't really think about it or worry about it, because I've been having it my whole life. It's kind of like if you got one leg your whole life, you gonna hop on one leg the whole time. Like it ain't nothing different. Like I don't even think about it anymore. Like,
did you ever play anything? Did you ever play anything other than defensive line?
So in high school I played tackle, left tackle.
You never got to carry the ball?
I did. That was my first position, running back. When I was 6, I played running back, but like the thing about rec ball was you had to be over a certain weight, and once I got to a certain age, I was just over that certain weight. So they switched me. I played center and nose guard, and when I got to high school, I played left tackle and D tackle.
Could anybody do you have the 7-year-old rec league rushing touchdown record? I would imagine. Like, how could anybody tackle you?
No, I forgot. I got some of the stat line though. I was doing it, man.
I bet you were.
And I feel like it's so crazy because I feel like I was doing the same moves I do today. Like I just thought of it as a juke move, but it's really a bob swat. Like, it's crazy.
Did you ever see the video? You remember Big Baby, Glenn Davis, played basketball at LSU. Did you ever see the video of him playing running back in high school?
No, I didn't.
But you got YouTube it.
Yeah.
I
heard so much about him though.
But he's got kids literally like holding onto his leg. He's just dragging him down the field. You got to YouTube it. It's hilarious.
Yes, I do.
Our conversation with Maason Smith, we're going to continue. We spent a part of the first part of the interview talking about his injury, as you heard there. Pretty fascinating. Him saying he felt like he could have played against Texas A&M. But we did get into this coming season, how prep has gone, going against this offensive line, his relationship with Brian Kelly, his third defensive line coach in as many years. That's coming up. Quick reminder about Traction Sports, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Traction summer baseball camps resume on Monday. So if you want your son age 5 and up in Traction summer baseball camp every week throughout summer, it resumes next week. They took off this week for the 4th. But get to the website, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com, and enroll or register your son for Traction Summer Baseball. Again, full and half-day options are available depending on what better suits your schedule. TractionSports.com to register. Say it every day, Traction, where champions are made. Remember, if it's not summer baseball, Traction has small group training. I can't emphasize this enough. Most people don't know they do this. Your son or daughter, regardless of sport, can do small group training with a membership, unlimited sessions, sport-specific training. Volleyball, lacrosse, track, swimming, diving, football, baseball, basketball, doesn't matter. You'll get sport-specific functional training in a small group setting at Traction with a small membership fee and unlimited sessions per month. It's at Traction. TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Okay, y'all, we're here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet, and glad to have you aboard with us. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're going to knock out a quick break. We're here all to benefit the Istrouma High football program. fired up. Coach Sid's here. He's going to join us in about 30 minutes, tell you much more about what's going on over in the Istrouma community. So that's coming up. When we come back, we'll let you hear the rest of our conversation with Maason Smith. I think you're really going to enjoy this. We appreciate it. We appreciate Maason so much for his time. We appreciate our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys who helped make that conversation possible this morning. We'll knock out a quick break and continue with Maason Smith next from Pluckers on Bluebonnet.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. With 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, the weekend is upon us. It's a great time to get by Clegg's Nursery. If you're going to be out in the garden, it's a great way to get a little exercise. Make sure you put on your sunscreen and make sure you protect yourself with a little shade, a hat if you can. But if you're going to get out in the garden, it's a great time to do it over the weekend. Man, get in the garden, plant some of those flowers. Full greenhouses at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. But remember, it's so much more. Of course, they got full greenhouses, the largest garden center in the state. But they're partnered with True Value Hardware Stores. So if you're checking off the honeydews, bypass the big box store, go shop at Clegg's. Everything you need from duct tape and wasp spray and hammers and nails and anything that you can need at a True Value Hardware store, you'll also get at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, Seagate near Airline, LA 16 in Dedham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local for more than 60 years. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Thrilled to have you back with us here from Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Great day today. Coach Sid Edwards legendary coach in the state of Louisiana, will be with us here in about 25 minutes. Continuing our conversation with Maason Smith, if you're just joining us, had a chance earlier today to visit with the LSU defensive lineman, courtesy of our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. It was about a 30-minute conversation, so we split it in two parts. First part, we talked about his injury, his rehab, his recovery, how his offseason has gone. This is more getting into the weeds of his relationship with Brian Kelly, third defensive line coach in as many years, and getting ready for what we all hope is going to be an awesome season. We continue our conversation with LSU defensive lineman Maason Smith.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about this coaching staff. 3 years at LSU. This is your third different defensive line coach.
Yeah.
You went from Coach Carter to Jamar Cain last year, and now Jimmy Lindsey. How does that affect your position group when you have that much turnover at that spot?
I think it definitely does. Not much so as me or kind of like the older guys, but more the younger guys. Like, because when you're younger, you definitely need somebody like to teach you and develop you. So having that trust as a younger guy to a coach, a new coach, is kind of different because you really got to hone in and learn from them. You see, like when I was a freshman, I had O and Coach Carter there and Coach G. Gerald Chapman on at Tulane now, and they all taught kind of like the similar ways or like the similar modes of play that they would call it. And like getting with Coach Cain, like he switched it up. He did a little different thing. And Coach Lindsey, he switched it up. He did a little different. So I mean, they're all three great teachers. But it's just, I feel like it's hard for the younger guys to trust what they're learning when it just came around.
Does we talked to Coach Pete Jenkins a few months back, and one of the things he told us is that Jimmy Lindsey actually, he's known Matt House for a long time, and their sort of philosophies are very similar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that Coach Lindsey and Coach House's game plans both fall in line, because like you said, they worked, I think it was Western Kentucky or something long time back. But yeah, we still do the same stuff though at the same time. Like Coach Lindsey has a different aspect. Like he was just telling us some different things that I've personally never heard of. But it's all working out and it's all gonna be good.
Yeah. Who else is we also saw Mekhi Wingo just have a massive year last year. You got hurt, someone had to step up, he was the guy. Jay Roy's gone, we know that. Who are the guys in that defensive line that are really standing out to you right now?
Well, I mean, I think collectively as a group we all getting better day by day.
Got a lot of transfers though.
Yeah. A lot of the transfer guys though, they definitely, I can say one thing about all the guys. This group definitely loves to work. Like you come to practice knowing that you're gonna have to work, and that's what you need in the defensive line because you can't just have one or two dudes. You gotta have all dudes, going in one direction. So I mean, some of the guys like Tank, he's stepping up. Jacoby and Guillory, Mekhi, Savion obviously. Jordan Jefferson's getting back from injury. He looking good. Strong dude. Parashan looking good. Even the younger guys, Tajee Hill, Fitzgerald West, them dudes looking solid out there too. It's all really about learning and progressing. And I can't forget Quincy. Quincy, a freak of nature. Well, when I look at him, I think more than me. And people say I'm a freak, man. That's a freak, dude. You can't. It's just different. But Quincy getting better, man. They just learning both. I feel like the more you hone on your mental of the game, like being able to process plays before they happen, like back this way, I got to line this way, I know I'm about to get these few blocks, or the back lined up this way, the back and pistol. Like just being able to think about quick things like that, like pre-snap reads, it'll help them out a lot. So just growing up and just getting that experience, time on task is really all it takes. But collectively, we definitely getting better.
Maason Smith with us here on behalf of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. I've asked this question to guys a lot over the years, and I'm curious your answer. There's always a guy who might be young, who maybe hasn't gotten the field time yet, but in practice you all see, you're like, oh man, that dude's just different. Like it's going to happen. You kind of maybe talked about it a little bit with Quincy there, might be the answer. But who's the guy that maybe fans don't know yet? Any position, any side of the ball, where you're like, that guy always pops.
Back to that question. Let me think
All
about
right,
it a little bit.
you think about it as long as you want. Hey, I do want to ask, because we talked about the defensive line. I want to ask about the offensive line.
Okay.
So last year, I remember Coach Kelly let the media come watch a lot of fall camp. We even got to watch some scrimmages, which hadn't happened here in 25 years. Yeah. And we saw a day that y'all were running full squad, full length of the field scrimmages. And there was a goal line situation where you annihilated 3 consecutive plays. You may not remember it, but I have it charted, actually. Like, you had a TFL, you had like a forced fumble, and then you chased Nussmeier back about 20 yards, and he heaved one into the end zone that nearly got picked. Like, nobody could block you last year.
Yeah.
And as we saw early in the season, the offensive line had some struggles.
Yeah.
But by the end of the year, they found their footing.
Yeah.
How much better is that group now than what you were playing against in fall camp last year?
Well, I mean, left to right, they've all just got a lot better. You know, Will, that was his first game. You know, that's a big ask. Like, what people don't really understand is about the SEC, going in as an 18-year-old, going against a 23-year-old, that's a whole different life. Like, coming from playing against 17-year-old, 16-year-old boys to going against grown men with kids, some of them, it's just different. So, I mean, them dudes definitely got a lot better. I mean, I told Will this and Emery, like, your progression from your freshman year to your sophomore year is way different. Like, it's just, you more there mentally, you more there physically. So I think just with a whole added year, you know, Will already who he's supposed to be, you know, and he gonna do what he do.
Yeah.
And left guard, we probably, I'm not even 100% sure how the offensive line, but from what I would say, Deli, he always been a solid guy, you know, solid, good athleticism. Charles always he the thinker of the group, he the speaker of the group, and he likes those guys follow Charles. And that's what people don't understand, is that they follow Charles, and Charles do a good thing, you know, he run his feet, everything. Miles Frazier getting better. Just a whole year SEC play, now he know what he came for, you know. Now he know what he got himself into, now he know how to handle himself, and then Emery just gonna get better.
They were impressive to watch. Their development throughout the course of the year was a big reason why the team had the success it did. What about 2023 goals? Do you like personal goals for you? I mean, team goals has got to be to win the national championship. But walk me through maybe some personal goals, some team goals.
I'll go with team goals. I know we definitely want to obtain a national championship, but that's everybody. I think really we just want to maximize our most effort, like maximize our effort or our potential. Like, you know, people always talk about LSU, great athletes, but never really get it done. I really feel like this is the time for us to do that, and I feel like we got the best pieces in the right places just to get that done. And I think everybody collectively as a group, the whole staff, I think we are working for that. And I think that's the only goal that we can really have, you know. But definitely we're going to take that week by week, and we're going to assess what we got to assess every week. But that's the ultimate end goal. And, I mean, personal goals, I mean, I just want, like I said with the team, maximize our potential. I want to maximize my potential. I just want to be who I am. I don't really have to fake it for nobody. I ain't going to say that I mean, I definitely want to win some trophies, but I mean, you know, that's out of my hand, you know, but I would love to win the Outland Trophy or the Nagurski Trophy. You know, I hadn't thought about stuff like that, but I'm just really just ready to maximize my full potential and show what I could do. That's all I'm worried about. I ain't worried about nothing else, no sacks, no nothing. I'm just ready to maximize my potential.
You go through ops and you see all of Glenn Dorsey's, like the shrine to Glenn Dorsey. You think that could be me?
Yeah, I think that could be me, honestly. Honestly, I do.
What's your relationship like with Brian Kelly?
You know, when he first got to school, we honestly didn't talk a lot. But after a while, he definitely came around. But I don't really see him as much right now. But during the season, it's always cordial. You know, we talk nice, cool here and there. But he just a real good coach, like a real good person, businessman. Like, he treats us like NFL players. So you're not really going to talk to your coach in the NFL, your head coach. But the thing is, when you do talk to him, it's deliberate, which I like that, you know. Yeah. But he just a very professional man, you know, cool dude, though.
Speaking of the NFL, you think at all about the draft?
I mean, obviously I do, just because that's been a big dream of mine since I was 6 years old, but can't really think about it right now. I mean, I got a whole season in front of me. I'm just trying to think about all that, everything else to fall in line for itself.
Do you all, have you circled the Florida State game? Like, is that, this is the biggest opener for LSU since 2011.
Oh, yeah.
LSU played, I don't know if you remember this, but LSU played Oregon.
Yeah.
It was a top 5 matchup, and the whole offseason was LSU Oregon. It was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oregon had just played the national championship game the year before, and it pushed everything that entire offseason. Is that how this is for? I mean, this is the marquee game of the opening weekend.
I know I'm definitely ready for it, and I know the guys ready for it. Just because losing that game, I don't want to say nothing that I'm not supposed to say, but losing that game, I just feel like we shouldn't have lost that game at all. I just feel like with the circumstance that we was in, all the bad plays that we made, and we still lost by one, that showed you something. And I don't really have to say nothing else. Like, you know, we definitely want to win that game just because we feel like that game got stolen from us the year before. And we're a whole different team now, a lot more chemistry, so we're going to see what it is. But we definitely working for that game. You know, we ain't never, ever since last year, ever since September 4th of 2022, we ain't never forgot. And I damn sure ain't never forgot, so I'm ready for it myself.
Remember the date?
Oh, yeah. 360 something.
Getting close.
Yeah, 360 some days apart.
Maason Smith with us on behalf of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. I know you're part of the G team.
Oh, yeah.
What's that been like for you, that opportunity?
It's been a great experience, you know, just really getting myself out there and doing different stuff that I haven't done before. Just like really doing charity work. Like we done some charity work with the team and stuff like that, but like the bike giveaway, you know, it was just a great environment to be around. Just seeing out in people's faces, all those little kids' faces, you know, it was just, that's just good things to be around. Or just doing some of the production days, like, you know, creating commercials, doing content. I just like I said, I'm in school for broadcasting, so it's like, it's just a tune-up for me. At the same time, it give me like help. It give me practice on having to do it because I take classes like this, like, so it just give me practice, and I love it. It's been good. I'm definitely thankful for having the G team.
A lot of people excited to watch you play here in about a month or so, man. We
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you coming in today.
Yes, sir.
That is Maason Smith, our conversation with the LSU defensive lineman, courtesy of our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. We're Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Our Friday show is presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. Weekend is when a lot of people go car shopping. It is a great time to do it because they have got a full car lot of inventory. It's funny, you know, a lot of car lots after COVID, understandably, were empty. It's hard to get inventory. Not at South Point Volkswagen, man. Their lot is full, and they got more on the way. The 2024s, the Atlases, the Cross Sports are en route right now, and you can go to the website, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Go to the website, and you can reserve your vehicle that's on the way before it even gets to the lot. So when it shows up here in these coming weeks, boom, you just come get it. South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and for our Lafayette listeners, Southwest Volkswagen. Of course, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A Zachary police officer with a history of problems in the past is on leave, accused of hitting a child. The WBRZ investigative unit doing some digging, finding this isn't the officer's first run-in involving a domestic violence issue. We'll have the details on what he did in the past and why at least one department said they wouldn't touch him. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Was a humid day barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. We're here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet, and glad to have so many of you aboard with us. Come on out. Great crowd already. We're raising money for the Istrouma High football program as Coach Sid Edwards is breathing life back into that thing and helping those young people get all the resources they need, from things like shoes and all the equipment and uniforms. So we're fired up to be here, and so many people in our community are stepping up. Our guy Chuck Bro is here and brought a couple of the portraits that he did of Dylan Cruz holding the championship trophy. We're going to be giving a few of these away. We'll tell you about that coming up in just a little bit, though. But real quick, to wrap up hour number 1, a little out of order because we had the Maason Smith interview. But let's do this right now. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
4-star defensive lineman Joseph Jonah Anjoye has committed to Kirby Smart, the Georgia football team. Some baseball news as well there in Athens. Baseball team has landed All-American Sam Houston outfielder Joe Redfield out of the transfer portal.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Some sad news there in Starkville. Former Super Bowl champion and Mississippi State star Johnny Cooks has died. He was the number 2 overall pick back in the 1982 draft as a linebacker. Johnny Cooks has died at 64.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Missouri transfer Dalton Bargo has committed to Tony Vitello. The catcher will spend the rest of his career there in Knoxville. On the football field, 4-star offensive lineman William Satterwhite has committed to Josh Heupel and the Vols.
Texas A&M!
One we will get to here in deeper detail in a second. Aggie right-handed pitcher Chris Cortez, he has entered the transfer portal, was a one-time Arizona commit, but flipped to Texas A&M when Nate Yeske went to the Aggies. We'll file that one away.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Vandy has extended their athletic director, Candace Lee, gets a contract extension there in Nashville through 2028. She was the first African-American female athletic director in the Southeastern Conference. There you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, Lafayette, and online at gcopnet.com. Great supporters of all the local teams. Official office equipment provider, the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Putting a button here on hour number one. I do want to circle back to the Chris Cortez news there because that's one worth keeping an eye on in the transfer. Strong-armed righty who has really struggled with command, but the arm talent is undeniable. That's a guy who could end up following Nate Yeske to Baton Rouge. We'll get some more thoughts on that. Hour two coming up next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. I was having a great conversation yesterday with my buddy Martin over at Shawbills, and man, they are hiring. One of the things I love telling you about with Shawbills, Shawbills is a family-owned and operated company, has since they opened their doors in 1968. 55 years locally owned and operated. And the thing that they pride themselves on about being family-owned is that not only are they family-owned and do they express that to all of their customers and all of their clients that come through every day, but also for their employees. When you join the Shawbills family, you're treated like family. You want to talk about the best benefits? You want to talk about a career path with the opportunity for advancement? You can have a career and not just a job, and Shawbills lets you have it. If you want to get into the automotive service industry, you can learn more or apply online at ShawbillsTire.com. That's ShawbillsTire.com for Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. 19-year-old rookie Victor Wembanyama, standing at 7'3", makes his Summer League debut with the Spurs tonight in Las Vegas. They'll play the Hornets at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Seth Greenberg.
To me, we always talk about offensive range. Victor's got defensive range. His ability to contest and protect the front of the rim. He blocks shots that others just can't block. His ability to contest on the perimeter, contest at the rim, to cover ground. He's almost like a cornerback.
ESPN Seth Greenberg. Another speeding incident involving a Georgia football player. Freshman linebacker Samuel Mpemba is ticketed this week for driving 88 miles an hour in a 55 zone. Bulldogs players have been involved in at least 10 moving violations over the last 6 months. The Texas Rangers will be the first team since the 1976 Reds to have 5 position players start the All-Star game. Adolis Garcia will be an outfield replacement for Aaron Judge, joining Jonah Heim, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Josh Young.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
I think that was live, Coach. You're all good. Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet and fired up to have so many of you aboard with us here personally and however you might be listening or watching. We're here for, well, not only the guy to my right, but all of his football players and the entire Istrouma community. Sid Edwards, who many people know from his time. If I leave any out, remind me. Catholic, Jesuit, Central, Redemptorist. Who am I missing?
Holy Savior Menard.
Holy Savior Menard. Shout out to Ronnie Rance.
Oh, yeah.
And at time in Nichols, too. Weren't you down in Nichols for a time as well?
I was.
Am I making that up?
I was a graduate assistant. They called it restricted earnings, Coach. It was extremely restricted. And
I bet so.
I was there for Ricky Broussard, was the head coach.
I love it.
And that was around 90, 96, sure was.
Man. Well, now you've got a new challenge, a different challenge as the head coach at Istrouma. I think a lot of people from around here, Coach, hear Istrouma, and the first thing you think is Billy Cannon.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you think Billy Cannon. But obviously that's a community school that I think it's fair to say has fallen on hard times as far as resources and things like that. Why this challenge right now in your life and your career?
God has blessed me immeasurably with my career, and I love winning as much as the next guy. And when his job opened up, Matt, here's the bottom line. It was more than a coaching job. It's a calling. I grew up in that neighborhood many, many years ago, and it's not the same neighborhood I grew up in. But it's just, when we were kids, we would walk everywhere we went. There was no air conditioning in the house. A popsicle was a delicacy back there growing up. Well, time has stood still because that's still the case. There's not a lot of air conditioning in the homes. My guys walk wherever they go. And it's just, I saw the need and the calling to go there. And I'm a football coach, but as you well know, this is more than a football job.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do in the 70805. There's a lot of despair in the neighborhood, and actually that's what attracted me there. And kind of using football as a vehicle to help this community and these players and their families out.
Can you go back just to how it came about that you ended up at Istrouma? How did those conversations begin that you knew there was even an opportunity there for you?
Well, I got let go at Central, and actually they gave me another job. I'm not a desk guy. I can't, I'll be forever indebted to them. But I said, well, I'm gonna coach again. And I looked. There was a couple of jobs I looked at that I was interested in. Applied, didn't get them, and I really was thinking, hey, I'm gonna go basketball. It was getting that late, mid-March.
Okay.
I'm gonna go coach basketball. I just want to do something.
And you won state titles in basketball at Redemptrist as
yeah,
well.
we won one in 03.
Okay.
2003. So I saw this one advertised on the LHSA website, and I said, I don't know. Well, I threw the name in there. I didn't know if they would even call me. They did. Outstanding principal, Yolanda Langford, is there, and Latasha Clay said, hey, we got that's our AD, we got your resume. Can you interview? And still going to the interview, I did not know, is this something I wanted to do or whatever. And when I got there and I met those people and I felt those people and I saw the sincerity and the need, when they offered me the job, I had to come home first and say, okay, do I still want to do this?
Right.
And God spoke to me. This is it. This is where you need to be.
Well, you've mentioned that it's more than football. It's a calling. I think any educator would probably say. Most coaches would probably say that as well. It's the opportunity to influence and affect young people's lives.
Right.
But this still is a different challenge. Can you speak to that a little on outside of just the X's and the O's, essentially, Coach, why we're here today, literally why we're doing the show today and why our station is embracing your program and these kids so much today because of the needs that you all have?
Yes. There are many needs, for each kid individually and in the community and the school itself. And when I took it, I knew it was going to be a tough job, at least from the football perspective. I did not realize or feel the despair that's in the neighborhood. Of course, the 70805 has a reputation as a high crime area, and it at times it could be well earned. But there's beautiful people over there, and they don't want to live in fear. They don't want to. That's 99% of the people over there are people just like you and I. They're just great people, a lot of hardworking people, and. And once I got into the school and I saw how well it's run by Miss Langford and those folks, I said, this place could be special. But there's so much they don't have. When I grew up there was a movie theater. There was a bowling alley, multiple grocery stores, a roller rink, and none of that exists anymore. So it's just there's just a great need, especially for the young people. And kind of the mission of it is like I said, using football as a vehicle to help them out. I got story after story. Here again, I'm spoiled. I got air conditioning in my house, and I got a vehicle. So what we're raising money for is certainly the helmets and the shoulder pads and the uniforms and weight equipment and electric water coolers and just about anything we can get. But we're so indebted to the people who helped us because, food goes a long way. We feed a lot of these kids, and some of them, they're warriors. They'll show up at 7 o'clock, and I keep them till 11 or 12, and it hit me that they're not eating. There's And that's, I don't want to paint with a brush that's the whole group of them. That's not the case. But even if it's just one. So the needs there are so vast. Everything from biscuits in the morning to $420 helmets. Yeah. And we're just trying to make it better for them. We want them to have things that other schools have.
You said $420 helmets. That's how much helmets cost now?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so, it's interesting that you said this. Because literally today, I was we started the show today with an interview that I did this morning with Maason Smith of LSU. And on the set that we set up in studio, we have an official, an authentic LSU helmet.
Right.
For someone in the equipment. Anyway, and I can't believe I even noticed this today, but on the helmet there's a sticker, and it said, first issued 2014. It says, recommended use should not exceed 10 years with regular service or whatever the
certification.
Certification, right? So basically, don't be using this past 2014, and if you continue to use it, make sure that it's certified still and safe.
Right.
You won't have enough helmets for your safe helmets for your kids?
Well, the certification date ran out, and the ones we had are about 8 or 9 years old, give or take, and even to certify them, it's some of it's a racket. Okay, so you got to send it off to be recertified, and that's like $150 a helmet to do that. So looked at the age of them, and I said, we're better off if we just get some new stuff that has a shelf life of about 8 years if they're certified every 2 years.
Yeah. Sid Edwards is with us, new head coach at Istrouma. I want to talk more about your team. I want to talk about the Istroma program, some more specifics about what you all need and some of the other challenges you're facing, and it's, of course, why we're here today. So sit tight. We're here at Pluckers on Blue Bonnet. If you come out, please feel free. Our guy Stevie Levy, the king of the wing here at Pluckers, is contributing a portion of proceeds today to make sure that make a nice donation to Istrouma as well. And if you can come on out, get you some dinner for the family, maybe have a cold beer at the bar or something like that. And you can meet Coach Sid and so many other community members that have continued to outreach. We're going to make sure that we link in the Byford YouTube chat and on Twitter and Facebook, the online donation portal. If you want to give anything at all, we'll show you how you can do that. Let me knock out a quick break. We're here at Pluckers. We'll continue with Coach Sid as we continue on this Friday edition of AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Coach Sid mentioned air conditioning. As a matter of fact, last week, AC at our house went out while I was on the air. Erica called River City's 1 Hour Air. Before I was off the air, Britt, the technician, was already at our house getting our unit back running. Look, I have a wife and a 9-year-old with special needs, and man, cannot be in a house in 110-degree weather without AC. And I'm grateful to River City's 1 Hour Air and the great work that they do, their commitment to great customer service and doing right by people to explain all of your options. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. If you have issues with your AC, give them a buzz. 752-0001, 752-0001. Weekends upon us, doesn't matter. Nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. They'll never charge you extra to come out. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 3.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We're back here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Glad to have you with us. Coach Sid Edwards is joining us here on site. We're here to raise not only financial assistance, but I think awareness as well. Coach, one of the things that you said to me in the break was, yes, of course, financial assistance is great for a lot of the things that you need, but engagement as well.
Yeah, I mean, Baton Rouge is very resourceful. And everything from law enforcement to lawyers to doctors to welders to, mailmen. We have dreams for these kids. So someone may not be able to give a financial donation. But if you call me and you say, hey, look, Coach, you need somebody to talk to the team. You need someone to come by. Or you have a business that we could do a tour with. I'm trying to expose them that there's great things out there. There's great people out there. So engagement is every bit as much appreciated as financial donations.
Yeah. I would imagine, look, I was fortunate. I went to a school where we won a lot of games, and every Friday night our side of the stands were filled.
Right.
That doesn't happen everywhere.
No.
And I would imagine that's probably one of the challenges that you all face as well.
Yeah, I haven't coached a game there yet, but I know competing against Istrouma in the past, and not only Istrouma, we're talking about Istrouma today. Certainly other EBR schools, Bel Air and Tara, Broadmoor, Glen Oaks. We're not alone in some of our needs and whatever. The district does a good job with us. There's no issue there. But there's that next level. Okay, the next level of help and what you need. And it is sad to go to a game and there's no one, in the stands.
Yeah.
So, heck, catch a game at the reservation, and here again, some people are scared. They're scared to come, But I've been there 2 months, and, there's no issues, There are issues. Let me rephrase that. There are issues, but our school is a safe haven. It's where, our kids come to be safe.
Yeah. You got some of your players here as well,
Right.
which is really cool to see. Some of the guys that came out today. You were telling me earlier today that you all had a little surprise competition.
Yeah, man, a lot of fun. The Jimmy Williams Classic, of course.
Yeah.
Coach Jimmy Williams from Episcopal and former Vanderbilt, San Francisco 49, a Seattle Seahawk. They were putting on a tournament in his memory. His wife, Miss Chandra, they were putting it on at Episcopal today, and they called me last night. They said, Coach, we had a team drop. Is there any way you could get it together? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Now, I had the boys coming in at 8. So I said, you know what, we're going to go. So we got a bus. Coach Ed Wilson got me a bus, and when the boys walked up, I said, jump on the bus. Where are we going? I said 7-on-7. So we headed out, and the boys had a great day. They made it to the championship game. They fell short in the championship game, but they had a lot of fun.
How I was going to ask. Let me ask. How is the team looking for this year? I mean, it's still new. I mean, it's the summer. You're heading toward fall, but how are y'all looking so far?
It's so hard to tell. I mean, right now we did 5 days of spring. We have very low numbers. We're right at 40 kids. I can tell you that they're doing well this summer. But to put the pads on and actually see how it looks like then, that's the question. Yeah. Very thin, not a lot of depth with such few kids. But the kids that are – I'll tell you one thing, Matt. We have a huge offensive line. We didn't bring many offensive linemen here to Pluckers today because they'd be the dead chickens would be everywhere.
It's not all you can eat wings. That's on Monday.
Yeah, yes, but we're large. We average 300 across the front.
Oh wow, yeah, you
and
got
some
size.
big boys. And but I think we can do some good things this year. I really do. I'm hopeful that we can win some football games. And
you know the mentioned also when we started that Istrouma does have great history. I think most people think of Istrouma in this town. The first thing they'll think of is Billy Cannon playing there in the 1950s. Do you still get some of the echoes in the hallways of that great history at the school?
Wayne Moscona, graduate of I'm not sure what year, a long time ago. Wayne was the EBR educator for years at Baker. He showed up with a beautiful portrait of Big Fuzzy Brown. Now, there was Big Fuzzy and Little Fuzzy, and I could get the fuzzy stuff wrong.
Okay.
But I think Big Fuzzy won like 8 state championships during that era. So Istroma has a very unique alumni base over 100 years. But then there's recent alumni. All the way up to Le'Veon Moss, who is a running back for Texas A&M, played at Istroma 2 years ago. Lionel Hayes, great quarterback that played there. Elton Fields, who played at Tulane and had a little stint in the NFL. So there's a long history there, and what we're trying to do is bring the different entities of that history together to form one mighty eye.
Yeah. One of the really cool things, as we're here today, and a big, and I was looking at the online fundraiser and set a lofty goal.
Yeah.
And you've almost met it. I think the number was around 25 or 27,000, which was the goal.
Right.
We're just a couple $1,000s short of that.
We're close. We're really close. And truthfully, Matt, when we started, the goal was $10,000. Because here again, with these deals, players provide emails, they send it out to family and friends. Well, we didn't have a whole lot of emails.
Right.
And what I'm blessed with, friends of mine, guys like yourself, thank you for the donation. Redemptorist people, Catholic High people, Central people, other people I've coached have stepped up to help these kids. Not to mention high schools, David Brewerton at Zachary donated 70 pair of cleats, some shoulder pads, Brett Beard at Denham, Neil Weiner. Heck, I don't want to miss, but all those folks.
University High, I know.
U-High, okay, with some cleats. Livonia High School came through with some weight racks for us. So all my peers and all those people, they've been a blessing to get us some of the stuff we need.
That I would imagine that's got to be incredibly moving to have people in all these different places where you've worked and made an impact to reach out to help.
It is very humbling, and it touches my heart. And like I get calls, Coach, hey, do you need any shoulder pads? Knee pads are like Tic Tacs. You go through 1 million of them, so we get as many of those as we can. So people have given and are contributing in a variety of ways.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see. You and I were talking yesterday, and some of the things that struck me and that really moved me is what, and I think you were very clear to note as well as we started, that it's not every player on your team that's facing hardships, but you do have a lot of young men that are dealing with what a lot of people listening or watching right now don't deal with, that are blessed. Like I'm blessed. I was, to go to a great school and have great family support and great community support like so many other people listening, but not all of your players have that.
No, these kids have seen things that none of us should have to see. Here again, I don't want to paint it with a broad brush that that's been the case. But some of the stories, I've had quite a few of them, just since I've been there, have family members victims of gun violence. here again, they shouldn't have to do that, and that's why we're there. Can we stop all that? I notice we can make their lives better, and we're trying to get them to a point that two things. One, they can get out and see the world, and two, which would be the most beautiful thing, is they can come back and help fix and heal and work on stuff. But you're right. I mean, I got some great parents. I got some great mamas, some daddies that are helping us out and doing great things for the kids. That's there. So not trying to paint that picture.
Sure.
But I can tell you, when you hear about things being tough, it's real in the 70805. It is. And you'd almost have to see it to believe it. And here's the thing. With my players, mostly you wouldn't know it because they're super appreciative. Here's what I don't have. I ain't got an entitled guy on the team. And they're appreciative, and they're joyful, and they're happy, and their families are taking care of them. So there's a lot of positive as well.
Win some games on the reservation this year too, man. That's always good.
Man, if we could, hey, here's the deal, because, I got the old, and it's so tough. LSU's playing Florida State right out the gate. But the fight song, the old Tomahawk Chop, it's going to be rocking on Winburn in 38 this year. I got to find a horse and an Indian. I got to find a spear. But we're going to try to make it an event.
Yeah.
Try to have fun.
If this might just be the platform in this state, Coach, where you put out a call for a horse, an Indian, and a spear, someone's going to call us.
We're waiting.
Someone's going to call us.
We'll take it.
With an option. Coach Sid Edwards is our guest. Speaking of which, LSU, Florida State, do you get to follow the Tigers much?
I do. The way I live, I've got two special needs sons as well, so I don't get to see a whole lot of football. Listen to it. I listen to it a lot. But, I'm attuned.
Yeah. It's we're excited for a really good football season. I mean, it's.
I think so.
Everybody's pretty excited about all the prospects of what may happen this year in the purple and gold as well. You know what? I'm just looking around, and it's so here it is at 4:30 on a Friday, and this place is packed right now.
Yeah.
The whole bar area here is packed, and I think it's a great testament to you, to the Istroma community, to what you're working on building right now, and we're glad to be a little bitty part of it today, and hopefully what's going to be a great opportunity for a lot of your players and kids in the school.
Well, thank you. It is indeed beautiful. I'm looking around at coaches from Plaquemine and Dutchtown and Central and Calic High and U High, and the volleyball coach from Central just walked by, and I mean that does my heart good.
That's awesome. Coach Sid Edwards, it's our pleasure to be here. We'll bother you again a little bit later in the show. We appreciate you for putting on the headset here for a few minutes.
Hey, God bless you and everyone who's helping.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. That is Sid Edwards. This is After Further Review. We're here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. We still got a ton to do as we move throughout the course of the show today. In about 15 minutes, Musha will have Tigers in the pros. Also, let me see. There's a lot that we got to delve into. When we come back, I do want to talk a little Saints. Interesting piece today about the impact Derek Carr may have on the NFL in 2023. And we get to that. Also, in hour number 3, plenty of MLB Draft stuff, as Sunday is day one of the MLB Draft. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We are at Pluckers on Bluebonnet, and glad to have you aboard. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. You get to NOLAflooring.com. That's NOLAflooring.com. I tell you all the time, buy where the pros buy when we talk about New Orleans Flooring. And the reason that New Orleans Flooring is able to pass along savings is they buy by the tractor-trailer load that is running all of their trucks. And so even if you're a residential customer, if you're a commercial customer, they've got over 100,000 square foot of overruns in nylon carpet tile, starting at $1 a square foot. They'll even come to you. You could buy today, and they can install tomorrow. You could buy today or pick up today over at New Orleans Flooring. You know where they are. Of course, they're in Metairie, but they're on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're going south on Airline, you pass the Walmart. On your right, you can't miss it. Blue awning, blue sign. It's New Orleans Flooring. Buy where the pros buy. Online, NOLAflooring.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Back here at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Thanks again to Coach Sid Edwards, spending a couple of minutes with us here. What a day and a great occasion to be here to help raise money for the Istroma football program and in that community. You know, speaking with Coach Sid about the challenges he's facing, he said it's a calling, and he's clearly the right man for the job. I mean, you look around Pluckers today, and this place is packed with coaches and people from community leaders from all over parts of South Louisiana, and they're here to help not only support Coach Sid, but to support his kids, his players, a lot of whom are here as well. So, but real quick, and I'm going to jump back into there's some Saints stuff I want to get to, some MLB Draft. I mentioned this a bit ago. Our guy Chuck Bro, great local artist if you're not familiar. Chuck did, I'm holding it up for those who are watching, you can see it. If you're listening, you're just going to, I tweeted a link to it, but he did a painting of Dylan Cruz holding the championship trophy. I don't know if there's a glare on that, but is that better? Okay. He did a painting. It's Dylan in his baseball uniform with the cigar, national championship shirt on, holding the championship trophy. It's beautiful. You've probably seen the picture. It's Burrow-esque, the Burrow cigar photo. It's Burrow-esque. And he did a painting of it, and he's got prints, and he brought 5 of them. And he said, look, Matt, here, give these away. Someone comes by, makes a donation, just give them away. So that's what they're for sale on Chuck's website. for about, I think, $47. So you come by, you make a $50 donation, bring a check, make it out to Istrouma High football. First 5 people that do will give you one of these paintings. I got Hudco hats here as well, and 104.5 ESPN hats. So if you can make it by Pluckers, come get you a hat. We'll get these paintings or these prints to people who can make a donation. We'd love to do that. So thanks for being here with us. This was interesting to me. So if you know, I don't do a lot of summertime sports lists. That's not really my thing. I don't love that. I actually loathe that, to be honest with you. I think by and large, it's a lazy thing people do to create content during the summer. But sometimes there are things that you can extrapolate from these types of lists that are telling about a season, a player, things along those lines. Kind of a launching point for conversation. I ran across one over at this was at CBS Sports. And CBS Sports did a list of the top 10 most impactful offseason moves of 2023 for the NFL. The moves that are going to impact the NFL the most in 2023. Number 1 is the most obvious. You don't even have to be an NFL fan to know this, but it's Aaron Rodgers being traded to the Jets. Clearly, a future Hall of Famer, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, leaving Green Bay, where he's been for his entire career, going to the Jets, which has a great defense and some really nice offensive pieces. Could that be the final unlock for the team in the number 1 media market in the world that has been a long-time loser? That's the obvious number 1. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, former NFL MVP, was thought to maybe be on the move as a free agent or traded by Baltimore. The Ravens extending Lamar Jackson, giving him the massive contract. That's number 2 on the list. And there's a lot of other ones on this list that make a lot of sense. Number 10 is the 49ers landing Javon Hargrave. Number 9, they mentioned the Giants trading for Darren Waller. Obviously, the Saints fans got to know Darren Waller really well in that season opener of the COVID year when they played in Las Vegas against the Raiders. The Bears acquiring DJ Moore is on the list. The Cowboys acquiring Stephon Gilmore, former Defensive Player of the Year. The Dolphins trading for Jalen Ramsey. They mentioned Sean Payton, number 5 on the list. Sean Payton becoming the Broncos coach. The Bengals signing Orlando Brown. They finally get Joe Burrow, his bookend tackle that can give him the protection to prolong his career. We all hope so. But number 3 on the list is the Saints signing Derek Carr. Number 3 on the list, behind only Rodgers to the Jets and the Ravens extending Lamar Jackson. Number 3 on the list is Derek Carr. And you know what? It's 100% accurate. When you think about that word about impacting the NFL season, if you're talking about impacting the NFL season, by and large what we're talking about is what's going to make an impact toward winning a Super Bowl, making the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl. Well, there are only 8 division champions in the NFL, 4 in the NFC. I mean, you all know this is math, and I'm terrible at math, but there are 32 teams in the league. There are 8 division champs, which means that's 25% of the league. 75% of the league will not be a division champion. Again, math. 75% of the league will not be a division champion. Derek Carr going to New Orleans is something that will dramatically impact the playoff race for the NFL. You're talking about 1/4 of the NFL being a division champion, and Derek Carr impacting that clearly matters. The New Orleans Saints, the latest odds at DraftKings, have the Saints at plus 120 to win the division. Atlanta's plus 215, Carolina plus 400, Tampa Bay plus 800. The Saints are an overwhelming favorite to win the division and take up one of the playoff spots in the NFC, one of the 7 playoff spots in the NFC. So, yes, that is a massively significant move in the NFL. Now, as CBS properly points out, and this is my contention, has been my contention with Carr. Of course, the Saints, after winning the division from 2017 to 2020, have failed to make the playoffs the last 2 years. But they also mentioned that Derek Carr, becoming the most talented and seasoned quarterback in the division, makes them the division favorite, which is absolutely right. The other thing they note is that the Saints have the defense ranked number 8 in DVOA, which is defense adjusted value over average. You don't need to memorize that. Just understand it's a metric a lot of people use to rate how good was your defense last year. And PFF has him as the number 8 DVOA in the NFL a year ago. So you're saying, okay, you've got a really good defense from a year ago, top 10. You add a veteran quarterback into a bad division. You should win your division and make the playoffs. Yes, I'm totally fine with it here. The problem, of course, is what's the ceiling? What's the ceiling? I'm expecting the Saints to make the playoffs this year with Derek Carr. I think we all are. Vegas is. The Saints are the prohibitive favorite to win this division and should win the division provided Derek Carr stays healthy. But what's your ceiling? So, yes, it's an impactful move in that the Saints adding Derek Carr clearly impacts the NFL playoff race by making the Saints a prohibitive favorite to win a division. But does it actually impact the postseason greater? It will be fascinating to me to see if this Saints team can find some special sauce. And once they get into the playoffs, as I and I think many of you are expecting they will, and if you're a division champion, you are hosting a playoff game. Remember that. If you are a division champion, you are hosting a first-round game. The old adage of any given Sunday, if you get in, you got a shot. The New York Giants in 2007 are the best example of that. They got in as a wild card team. They wound up running their way through the playoffs and end up beating the 18-0 New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like, you can't win if you don't get in. And adding Derek Carr is going to get the Saints in. And that makes it a massively impactful move, and according to CBS, behind only the Jets trading for Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson being extended in Baltimore. And they're not wrong. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Love telling you about our friends over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, 31 different locations across 11 different states from sea to shining sea. Of course, here in Louisiana, but from Florida, along the coast, Texas, California, Nevada, Oregon, all over the place. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells services and rents the products you use to weigh and measure. They're just the best. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. You can check them out online. Their ISO 17025 accreditation available. Their track system is a free service, 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. I hear so often. As a matter of fact, I was sitting, before we started the show today, gentleman works at a plant in Geismar, came in. We have so many people that listen to our show in a lot of the plants all over the state. And so many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of people listening may go, ISO 17, what? If you know what ISO 17025 accreditation is, you know why it's important. And so many of you do. So on behalf of Michelli Weighing and Measurement, you weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you need to weigh and measure. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thrilled to have you aboard with us here. Friday show is brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Muse is going to have Tigers and the Pros coming up in just a few minutes. One of the things that we talked about a bit in the last hour, and if you missed it also in hour number one, we had our sit-down with LSU defensive lineman Maason Smith. So maybe if you're just knocking off of work and you missed it, get to the After Further Review LSU YouTube channel, and you can catch the full interview with Maason Smith in 2 parts. We did mention A&M pitcher Chris Cortez jumped in the transfer portal. He's a righty, big, strong-armed righty. He was originally committed to Nate Yeske at Arizona. When Yeske left Arizona to go to A&M, he went to A&M and followed Yeske. Well, now Yeske is the LSU head coach, or pitching coach, excuse me, and Chris Cortez is in the portal. So all of the presumption here is that Chris Cortez is going to end up in Baton Rouge. We'll see. What I will tell you is this. I do know that LSU is there are 2 – I'm very confident saying this. There are 2 pitchers that LSU is pursuing in the transfer portal. One of them is Holman from Alabama, who was – we've talked about him a bit. He was their he was their Friday night guy, but I don't think that we would say necessarily an ace. Probably a better served as a number 3 in the SEC, but because Bama just wasn't a great team this year, didn't have a great depth of staff. he was pushed into that Friday night role, almost like Mikhail Hilliard a year ago. But LSU is pursuing Luke Holman, and there's another pitcher. He's a lefty named Gage Jump. He's from UCLA. Could LSU in consecutive years go tap into the West Coast, where, of course, they got Thatcher Hurd a year ago, and get Gage Jump? I know those are two pitchers that LSU is pursuing in the transfer portal. We'll see if Jay Johnson's able to work his portal magic like he did a year ago. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We're at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Y'all come hang out and see us. I got 104.5 ESPN hats. I've got Hudco roofing hats. We've got these prints of Dylan Cruz in the national championship, courtesy of our buddy Chuck Bro. Y'all come out and see us here. By the way, to get one of the prints, you got to make at least a $50 donation. Come by, make a $50 donation to Istrouma High football, and you get one of these prints. And we appreciate y'all for being here with us. Let me knock out a quick break. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next from Pluckers on Bluebonnet.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's us, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. On Wednesday, I was over in West Baton Rouge in Bruley with our crews doing a re-roof there in West Baton Rouge. 2 weeks ago, there was that epic hailstorm, and so many businesses and homes were damaged by that hailstorm. And if that was you, we're already re-roofing. So whenever you're ready, we're ready. When you've had the insurance adjuster out, you've got your scope of work, maybe you've got your check from the insurance company, we're ready to help you. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. You know, when a storm like that hits so often, here they come. Out-of-state roofers, pop-up roofing companies. Well, where are they going to be in 3 months, in 6 months, in 6 years? You know where to find us. Hudco's been around for more than 20 years and will be here for years to come. You know where to find me, Matt at HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A Zachary police officer with a history of problems in the past is on leave, accused of hitting a child. The WBRZ investigative unit doing some digging, finding this isn't the officer's first run-in involving a domestic violence issue. We'll have the details on what he did in the past and why at least one department said they wouldn't touch him. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Thrilled to have you aboard with us here on a special Friday edition of AFR from Pluckers on Bluebonnet, helping raise money and awareness for the Istrouma High football program. Look, as y'all heard Coach Sid say, I mean, it's a program in an area of town that that has their struggles and their challenges. And for Coach Sid, the guy that many of us know, have played against, coached against, played for, coached for, just are aware of, not just a coaching job but a calling at this point in his career to go to Istrouma, not only help coach football there, but help bring resources into a community that needs it. And we were happy to help. And I'm telling you, today has been overwhelming to see the number of people that have come here to help, that have reached out from so many different communities. And also really cool to see a lot of Coach Sid's players here, the Istrouma players from the Istrouma football team here. So anyway, if you can help, certainly you could always swing by here, bring a check, make it out to Istrouma High football. We got the online donation links, which are available. And if you can't make a financial donation, any type of awareness or resource that you can give is certainly appreciated. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let's do it. Musso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, started off with some NBA Summer League. The Oklahoma City Thunder, that's where you'll find KJ Williams these days. Got the start last night for the Summer Thunder. 17 minutes, shot 2 of 6 from the floor. Added a ball in from the free throw line. 5 points in all for KJ to go along with 6 rebounds. Would grab an assist and steal the ball twice as well. And the Summer Thunder got the win 100-91 over the Sixers. Minor League Baseball, AAA to be exact, last night. Cam Sanders dominant in relief, shutting down the game, getting save number 2 on the year, would strike out the side in order in the 9th inning to preserve the 5-3 win for the Iowa Cubs. And the Chicago Cubs still refuse to call him up. Golf action to get you caught up on here today. Going to be a short stay for a couple of different Tigers on 2 separate tours. Ben Taylor, 7 over currently through 9 holes. Should say 7 over for the tournament, currently through 9 holes, 3 over on his day at the John Deere Classic. That will result in a missed cut. And at the U.S. Women's Open, Madeline Sackstrom shot 6 over par today. Has her at 8 over for the tournament. The cut line there currently sits at 4 over, so she will not be around for the weekend either. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Remember, gentlemen, it's where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for more than 30 years. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport, Lafayette. Shout out to our audience on ESPN 103.7 there in Lafayette. Got a Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry there as well, serving you. And if they don't have exactly what you're looking for, they can customize whatever piece that you would like to see. And you can do within your budget. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You know I hate summertime lists, yet I keep referencing summertime lists. I don't know why I'm doing that. But our buddy Barrett Salee over at CBS did have his ranking that he does annually, and CBS does annually, ranking college football coaches overall and then also in the conference. And Brian Kelly a year ago was 4th in the SEC, 7th in the country. He's up a spot in each this year to 3rd in the conference, 6th in America, 3rd behind Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. I do think it's kind of comical because Brian Kelly didn't learn how to coach in 2022. He didn't prove anything in 2022. He knew how to coach. All he did was prove a lot of people dumb for doing nothing but laughing at the way he said family or dancing with a recruit in front of a spinning camera. Too many people took their eye off the ball and decided to pluck the low-hanging fruit and try to make fun instead of looking at the actual job he was doing in Baton Rouge and the resources he had at his disposal. And we have certainly seen the manifestation of that. Now, I will say the list is probably right in that the only two coaches in the SEC that I would take over Brian Kelly are Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. And to be quite honest, if it were a one-year thing, I'd probably still take Nick. But if you're looking at the next 10 years, of course, I would take Brian Kelly over Nick because I don't know that Nick's coaching another 10 years. He's 71 years old. How much longer is he going to do it? I don't have the answer to that. None of us do. Only Nick will know. But Brian Kelly has LSU position for a strong season this year and a strong run. Hour 3, next.
AFR.
Got a text earlier today on the show text line from a fella that said, "Hey, Scone, what's the name of that mold company that you talk about?" It's Mold Zero. Mold-0USA.com. Sent the link. No worries. As I always tell you, if you can't remember the name of one of my sponsors or one of our show sponsors and partners here, text me, email me, tweet me, DM me. I'll always willing to help if you can't remember. But with Mold Zero, what you got to remember is this. You got mold. You got other harmful pathogens, odors. Mold Zero can knock that out. This is a patented non-toxic dry fog. It's so easy. They'll show up in one of their Sprinter vans. They have the long hoses. They'll come in. They'll spray their fog in your home, your office building, apartment complex, whatever it is. Because it's a fog, it gets in every nook and cranny, but it's dry, so it does not damage anything at all. It's Mold Zero. Learn more online at mold-0usa.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Spurs rookie Victor Wembanyama makes his Summer League debut tonight against the Hornets just 15 days after getting drafted number 1 overall. ESPN's Andre Snellings is in Las Vegas.
The only thing that I could think of close in recent years in my trips out to Vegas was the Zion Williamson hype in 2019, where it was just kind of a buzz around the whole city and you know, everyone was looking forward to it and talking about it.
Andre Snellings. Meanwhile, police investigated the incident between Wembanyama's security team and Britney Spears. There will be no charges. Police say the video shows Spears actually hit herself in the face after her hand was pushed away. Northwestern football coach Pat Fitzgerald serving a 2-week suspension without pay starting today after a university investigation of hazing within the program. In the second round of the U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach, American qualifier Bailey Tardy, after a 68 today, holds the lead at 7 under par.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance, and cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're live at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. Glad to have you aboard with us. Musso and Paulie are back in studio. Sunday, day 1 of the MLB Draft. Of course, we're expecting that Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz won't have to wait long to hear their names called, and both will become very, very wealthy individuals in very, very short order. We're talking a lot about that today. We're here at Pluckers. Again, maybe it's 5 o'clock. A lot of people just knocking off of work. We're here as community outreach. Coach Sid Edwards, new head coach at Istrouma. Sid has coached at so many places, from Catholic High and Jesuit in New Orleans and Central and Redemptorist and, Holy Savior Menard and back in the mid-'90s at Nicholls State. And many people know Sid and have for so many years, and he's taken on a new challenge at Istrouma High to try to not only build that football program back up, but to provide a great resource for the kids in that community. And we're happy to be here and to help. We had Sid on with us a bit ago, and one of his assistants is Eric Randall, who's been a longtime coach in the area, played quarterback, of course, at Southern University, and has coached a lot of places. We'll talk to Eric coming up in a little bit as well. So we're glad to have you aboard with us here. So we got a lot of football to do here in the hour, and if you missed it in hour 1, 2-part interview with LSU defensive lineman Maason Smith. We spent about 30 minutes with Maason this morning. We aired that interview here on the show in hour number 1, so if you missed it, catch it on demand. AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. So MLB Draft Sunday, round 1. Skeens, Cruz, in whatever order. We're expecting them to go early. However, it is seeming increasingly more likely that neither Cruz or Skeens is the number 1 pick. I know we talk about it often, and as odd as it is, the weird thing about the MLB Draft is that it's not as binary as just saying you're going to take the best player, because signability is a key, and everybody has a draft slot and how much a team is willing to pay out of their draft pool. And a lot of the word from Dylan Cruz and his camp is that they are not willing to take under slot, and that in some cases there are reports that Dylan Cruz actually wants over slot value. So while Dylan may be the number 1 prospect in this draft, Pittsburgh may not draft him because they're looking to save money. And as a matter of fact, Wyatt Langford now is the betting favorite to be the number 1 pick in the draft, Wyatt Langford from Florida. So it's a situation where the Pittsburgh Pirates may call Wyatt Langford's representative and say, are you willing to take X to be the number 1 pick? If they say yes, boom, Wyatt Langford's the number 1 pick. One thing that I've said for a long time now and will continue to say is I do not see Paul Skeens getting past the Washington Nationals at number 2. And if Langford goes 1, I believe Skeens goes number 2 to Washington. I've said that here for months now, and that's something I've been hearing from months from people associated with the Nationals organization, that their long eye is on Paul Skeens. They want the pitcher who they would – when Paul Skeens hits free agency in 6 years, someone's going to fork over $400 or $500 million. Washington's never going to pay a free agent that kind of money. They just saw Bryce Harper leave in free agency for Philadelphia because they wouldn't pay that money. So their assumption in Washington is have him for 6 years and then let somebody else pay him. And so I think Skeens will go 2 to Washington. The question is, will Pittsburgh pony up and pay Dylan Cruz, or will they take Wyatt Langford? If it's Langford, I think it goes Langford, Skeens, Cruz number 3. That's how I think it would play out if it does come down to that. A couple of other things worth keeping an eye on here. This is fascinating here. Kylie McDaniel's latest mock draft that he has out today has Ty Floyd going 24 to the Atlanta Braves. So Ty Floyd clearly, I'm not going to say it was just his, I'm not going to say that it was just that last start in Omaha, but really what Ty Floyd did throughout the final month of the season, the postseason, made him a tremendous amount of money. For whatever it's worth, Keith Law today has his latest mock draft out. He's got Wyatt Langford going 1 to Pittsburgh, Skeens going 2 to Washington, Cruz going 3 to Detroit, and Keith Law also has Ty Floyd in round 1 going 17 to Baltimore. If you'll allow me just a quick opportunity, just hypothetically, at the start of this season, Ty Floyd was in the top 100, in the 90s, somewhere between 91 and 100 projected. If he goes 17, slot value for the 17th pick is $4.1 million. If you look at the 90th pick, hypothetically, if that's maybe where Floyd would have gone before this season, slot value for the 90th pick is $759,000. So you're essentially looking at a situation where Ty Floyd made himself some $3.5 million by his performance this season, if he ends up going that high in the middle of round 1. But either way, Ty Floyd is a great example of someone who made himself millions of dollars by his performance in his junior season. The other 2 prospects, I'll run through this again very quickly for you, but the other 2 prospects that we were keeping an eye on that have no shot, that have virtually no shot of ever ending up on campus. Blake Mitchell, the catcher out of Texas, he's projected to go 37th overall to Detroit. That's by Kylie McDaniel. And then Cameron Johnson, the lefty out of IMG who throws 100, he's projected 61st to the Houston Astros. So those are the 2 prospects that LSU is not expecting to ever step foot on campus. The 2 iffies, the 2 that are 50-50 right now that you just got to see how the draft plays out. Ashton Larson, who is an outfielder from Overland Park, Kansas, and Stephen Milam, who is an infielder from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Those are the 2 that you're keeping your eye on if you're Jay Johnson, to see how might that go. All of the other players as a part of this LSU signing class are expected to be here, with the exception of some that are going to end up going the JUCO route. Jackson Birch from Central, I'm told, is going to Delgado. John Cassidy Vanek out of Lake Charles, he's going the JUCO route as well. And then Trenton Lape has had Tommy John for the 2nd time, so he's not going to be a part of this class. But everybody else is expected to be in Baton Rouge and help LSU try to go defend their championship. The biggest question, the biggest key for LSU is Grant Taylor. Had a conversation with a scout today, and I don't mind disclosing this, but part of the conversation around Grant Taylor is that his representation is looking for in the neighborhood of $4 million. I just told you Ty Floyd is mocked by Keith Law at 17 to the Orioles. That slot value is $4.1 million. 18 to the Brewers is $4.021. 19 to Tampa is the slot value is 3.8. So my point is, for Grant Taylor to get that type of money, someone is going to have to overpay later in the draft or take him in the middle of round 1. Now, if that is actually Grant Taylor's number, and he is firm on that number and wants $4 million, then Grant Taylor's going to come back to school. And that, again, I'm going to tell you from everyone I've spoken with, is the biggest decision facing any LSU player or signee in this draft. It's, what is Grant Taylor's number? Is he going to show up here? Jay Johnson, back on May the 2nd, this is 2 months ago, on his radio show, talked about Grant Taylor.
I mean, Grant Taylor did a lot in the summer in the Cape Cod League, so he very well could get drafted as well. So that one will be to be determined. I think we'd like to have him back, obviously. Not only is he a great pitcher, but he's a great person and could provide some leadership. And I think he's a guy that could really increase his value by coming out or coming back and just showing what he's capable of. We saw a little bit of that last year as a freshman.
They want him back. They need him back. And one scout that I spoke with today said at the start of this season, before his injury, Grant Taylor would have been a top 5 pitching prospect in this draft. Say that again. Grant Taylor would have been a top 5 pitching prospect in this draft before his injury. And that would have put him in the middle of round 1. That would have put him in that $4 million slot range. So if that's what he wants, it's going to benefit him to come back, and that would certainly benefit LSU to get Grant Taylor back for a junior year next year where he could pitch, he'd still have his leverage, being a junior, coming back off of Tommy John. That would be a fantastic building block for Jay Johnson and the squad going into next year. All right, so the draft starts on Sunday. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Thanks so much for hanging out. We're at Pluckers on Blue Bonnet. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Let me knock out a quick break, and we'll continue here as we benefit the Istrouma High football program and the Istrouma community from Pluckers on Blue Bonnet.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Literally today, as I was pulling into the parking lot right here at Pluckers, I was on the phone with my guy, Darren James. I said, DJ, tell me what's going on. He said, man, the market is on fire. This is still a seller's market. Interest rates are high. Buyers have started to just accept the fact that it's going to be like this for a while. And incredibly, right now, we're at about a 3-month inventory supply in the Baton Rouge market. Typically, it's 6 months. So when you only have roughly 3 months worth of inventory, what that means is this is a seller's market. If you are thinking about selling your home, have been thinking about selling your home, call Darren James. The market is hot right now. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Rolling along here from Pluckers on Bluebonnet. We're glad to have you with us here for a great day. You know, it's been pretty incredible. For those just joining us, we're here today. Can you hear? He needs a headphone volume. We're here today at Pluckers on Bluebonnet. And we're here to help benefit the Istrouma High football program and Coach Sid Edwards, who's been a great friend of so many, a colleague of so many. And one of the incredible things is how many people from other schools and other communities have joined us here today. And member of Sid's staff, Coach Eric Randall, is good enough to join us here for a couple minutes on site. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man.
Yeah.
You so not only you're the assistant principal at Istrouma, and you're on staff there with football as well. To see a day like this, where, I mean, it's pretty incredible.
It is.
This whole bar area on a Friday at 4 o'clock was packed.
It is.
From so many different communities. What just when you see this, what's your reaction when you see a day like this?
Well, when you look at our leader in Sid Edwards, I thought it was a great hire. I really thought that he did the best job in terms of the interview. Matter of fact, one of the guys that was on the interview, he brought in. But when you talk about bringing people together, some people are good at this, some people are good at that. And I think when you look around behind us right now, Sid is a good guy. He can bring all those facets together that you talk about from different communities. One of the most important things is that he's already been in that community before, and he's done successfully. He's done extremely well in terms of winning two state titles there in football and one in basketball at Redemptress. So, you're bringing all those things together. I call it a gumbo. I joke with him a lot. I say it's a gumbo, and we're going to reap benefits in that both on the field and in the classroom. And that's what we talk about a whole lot with me being in the front office and out here with our athletes. So, but you need this, and I think our kids need to see the diversity and so forth.
What are the biggest needs in the Istrouma community right now? Like, we're a big part of what we're doing today is not only awareness, but we are fundraising today as well. What are some of those biggest needs?
Well, I think just tear down some of those walls. I think when you think about entities such as a schoolhouse, a hospital, or a church or something, people are a little bit skeptical about going in there, and that's what this is all about. You see parents coming in and out, dropping their kids off, speaking to them. Just yesterday, me and Coach Wilson do a lot of Sid's, I guess you would call it football operation. Went to a kid house, sat in the living room with Mom, went over his grades and went over some different things, gave her our numbers, and you call us anytime, whatever it is. And I think that there is one of the biggest needs to be able to tear down any walls that's been placed up over the years that you can't come in and have a relationship. And Sid and I joke all the time. We say relationships are the biggest thing, and which it is. When you talk about relationships, so we want to know the parents. We want to know the quarterback from 1980 that's in here today. We want to know, the ex-principals. We want everybody. But another huge thing is identity. What is going to be our identity? Where is the culture? Where is the we can do it, you know. So I think that culture is going to come around, and it's going to start with football. It's going to start with our athletic program, and I think you're going to see it filter over because we're doing some good things academically. It's just we need more of it. The pride, that's the word we're missing, pride.
Istroma is a magnet school.
Yes.
So there are academic resources.
They are.
And so much of and look, you know, you're a guy, I think most people remember you and who went to Glen Oaks, then played at Southern. Your brother Marcus went to Glen Oaks. I played against Marcus. We were the same year, and then of course he went to LSU. As a product of East Baton Rouge Parish schools, you're in it as an educator, as a coach. Why is that important to you?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. You say student athletes. And so a lot of kids play sports. This is going to be their last time. But it won't be their last time getting them going to work. It won't be their last time putting forth the effort. It won't be their last time getting themselves prepared to raise a family. And so I think that is going to be paramount for a lot of these kids to be able to rub shoulders with the staff that Coach Edwards has put together, and also the academic staff that Mrs. Langford, that's our principal, Yolanda Langford, she has put together an outstanding staff. So I think when you look at that, it's going to be a match. It's just going to be a marriage. And I'm excited to be a part of it. I've only been there for about 3 months. So we got to have both entities working together. But I think a lot of times in our culture in South Louisiana, you know, football is a religion.
It is.
That's right. It's a religion, just like baseball. We're looking at the baseball. So all sports, especially our big three, and I think it's going to resonate and pay dividends when we look at our SPS school performance scores and so forth, because you can already see the kids. They're already Coach Storm, Coach Hills, Coach oh man, there's so many new guys that's in there. Coach
it's a whole
Bland,
new staff, man.
Yeah, Coach Bland, and the kids have gravitated to them because they said what they meant and they meant what they said, and they've seen commitment through other men. Yeah. And I think that's going to go a long way with our kids.
Give me an example of that.
Every day, just showing up every day. Loving them through all their growing pains. You know, we know sometimes it's going to be some mental toughness that we're going to have to grow with those kids. Sid talked about that to them today. We played for the championship in the 7-on-7 against my brother in Woodlawn.
Yep.
And so, you know, they did some things to get in our heads a little bit, but he talked to them about being mentally tough, being able to go. And I think that's going to go off into the 70805 community. We don't have to pick up a gun. We can talk about it. I guarantee you, we just have a conversation, we'll find out that there were some things that were misconstrued, and we can work this out. And I think that's the thing. We got to have some places and some people they can go to and talk. You look behind you, you have all these strong men, educated men, fathers, and that's what you're going to win with, Coach. That's what you're going to turn this program around with.
Do you see that resonating already with the young people on the team?
Yeah, I already see it, and every day. Every day we see somebody growing, somebody willing to bring the water in, somebody willing. When we first got there, a lot of kids say, that's not my just a freshman. Well, no, I like for seniors to bring the water in. You need to show the freshmen how to bring the water in. But I think that Sid has done some things. Sid is one hell of a – I'm not a fundraiser, and he has raised some money.
He is.
You know, and you got to put your money where your mouth is. And I joke with him all the time, and I say, these kids are getting Christmas more than twice a year. Outside of Christmas and outside of their birthday, they're getting Christmas almost weekly just to get a burger, just to get some new tennis shoes. You know, they already had the athletes there. They're already good. They already have great families in the community. We just got to put that pride, something that they can identify with, you know, and come on out and support. We had a 7-on-7. Sid put together 7-on-7 a couple of times. But we just have people walking down the street. They hear the music. They just walk on in.
They come on in and watch.
Just come on in and watch, Coach.
Is it? You said, you know, it's Christmas to get a pair of tennis shoes, to get a burger, you know, more than twice a week, whatever it may be. Is it from a lot of perspectives those may sound like very common things.
Right.
It's really that big of a deal?
It's that big of a deal to me now.
Yeah.
Show me you love me. What Maslow's pyramid or hierarchy needs say on the second level? Need to be loved, need to love, and need to feel love. I could talk about loving you all day.
Yeah.
But you got to show me.
Yeah.
You have to show me. I don't care how much you know. Show me how much you care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Eric Randall over at Istroma, also the vice principal over there.
Yep.
It's or the assistant principal.
Yeah, that's whatever it is.
Do we say assistant or do we say vice?
We're just educators.
What really
assistant.
assistant, what's the difference to say assistant principal or vice principal? Is it just different? I don't know. They're different.
Different eras.
Okay.
They used to say that back when we were young. When we was in grade school,
Yeah.
they say vice principal. And now they say assistant principal. You have associate principals and so forth. So
I'm learning too.
Yeah.
Assistant principal at Istroma. And what are you coaching on the staff?
I just work with the quarterbacks. I'm an assistant.
you know,
I want to make this public. I'm an assistant to an assistant.
The assistant to the regional
How you like
manager.
that?
That's the office joke right there. Thanks for coming out.
Man, thank you for having me.
I know you just hate and you're about to scoot, so I appreciate you putting on the headset for a few minutes.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me here.
It's
All
our
right.
pleasure.
Okay.
That is Eric Randall. This is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here again. We're at Pluckers on Bluebonnet, and it's been it's been a special day to be here, man. And I know everything got put together in a hurry, but we were willing to do this. And my hope is, honestly, we've talked about this just internally a little bit, so maybe I shouldn't even put this out there, but maybe every year doing something like this for a different school, organization, program, something that could use the benefit of having a pretty big megaphone to spread their message and raise some awareness and maybe even raise some money. But it's been really great to be here today and to see this. So we appreciate everybody that has stopped by, who has participated. I'll remind you again, if you are in the area driving down Bluebonnet or near here in Baton Rouge, our buddy Chuck Bro, really talented artist. He did this. The original is with the Cruz family now, I know, but Chuck did a pretty phenomenal job on this painting of Dylan Cruz holding the championship trophy with the cigar, and he just stopped on by, handed me 5 prints of it, and said, "Hey, someone comes by, makes a donation, just give these out." So happy to do that. If you want to come on by Pluckers on Bluebonnet, you can't miss us right when we're here. Let's just say a $50 donation, cash, or maybe write a check to Istrouma High football, and we'd love to hand you one of those prints. And I got Hudco hats and got 104.5 ESPN hats as well. So y'all come on out. Remember, or just have dinner. Just have dinner here today, because a portion of the proceeds today here at Pluckers, our guy Steve Levy, who's been a great friend of mine for such a long time, man. Anytime I call Steve and ask him, and it's always a yes, man. He's just awesome. So he's helping out as well with a portion of the proceeds today here at Pluckers. So come on out and have dinner at Pluckers. Drink a beer at the bar, whatever it may be. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here as we move through the 5 o'clock hour of a Friday edition here of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out a quick break. Still a ton that I want to make sure that we get to over these next couple segments as well. So when we come back, I want to talk some about yesterday. If you were here, Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports was with us and highlighted LSU's linebackers. I want to highlight another position group with good reason why we may see the player or players ready to break out at that position group. That's a pretty big question mark right now for LSU heading into this football season. We're glad you're with us here on a really fun Friday. It's been a good show here at Pluckers. We'll continue next on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Rouse's. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's has been in business, under their current name, for more than 60 years. But Rouse is going on 100 years old from its first concept was organized and opened. But, man, you want to talk about a great Louisiana business, a great community partner, Rouse's. There's more than 60 locations across the Gulf South. Man, you go into Rouse's, of course, helping you make groceries for 6 decades, but you can even buy their Rouse's branded products. They use Louisiana-sourced ingredients when they can, the highest quality ingredients, so you get the best product at the best price. That's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Maybe you're going to be having any type of get-together this weekend, barbecuing, having a few cold pops, hanging out by the pool this weekend, whatever it may be. Make sure you make Rouse's part of your weekend plans. Get to Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
That's my last. Take all these and give that to everybody. All right, sling those to everybody out there. Appreciate it. Here, sling those to everybody. I'm giving out hats. I'm giving out hats left and right. So appreciate got this Istruma. I'm gonna get the whole Istruma team. Yeah, no. Look, you take those. Just take them. You're good. Make sure everybody gets one. Sling them out there. Take pictures and send them to me. I'm just slinging Hudco hats out here. So, people love hats. What can I say? We're back at Pluckers on Blue Bonnet. Thank you for being here. We're literally coming back on air, and I don't know, about a half dozen guys from the Istroma football team were like, "Hey, man, you got any more hats?" Yeah, man, take them. Hand them out. Let's make sure the whole team has them. I do have to say the 104.5 ESPN hats were a little more popular than the Hudco hats. Hey. They're both a good-looking hat, all right? But I get it. So go ahead, man. Absolutely. Help yourself. Look, I can be completely honest about this. Absolutely. Go ahead. I love it. The Hudco hat is a wildly popular item. It's a beautiful accessory. Shout out Hudco Roofing, title sponsor of our coverage of SEC football media days. A week from Monday, we'll be in Nashville. But yeah, the 104.5 ESPN hats are a little bit. They went over a little better with the crew. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. You know, when we are in Nashville for SEC football media days, my guess is certainly Brian Kelly is going to bring with him. We don't know the players that are going yet. My guess is Jaden Daniels is going to be one of them, and he'll have somebody on the offensive side and somebody on the defensive side. Maybe it'll be Mason Smith. Maybe it'll be Harold Perkins. We'll see. I'm not sure that we're going to see anybody at the cornerback position, but we have asked and sort of wondered all throughout this offseason about that group, because LSU has built the reputation as DBU for so many years. And the last 2 years have been pretty interesting in this respect. You lose 2 big-time transfers in Elias Ricks and Dwight McGlothern. And your entire room last year was made up of transfers. It has not been common for LSU football to have a McNeese State transfer as a guy you're counting on at the cornerback position. You know who you count on at cornerback at LSU? Derek Stingley, Patrick Peterson, Morris Claiborne, Christian Fulton, five-star, first-round pick. That's who LSU counts on at the cornerback position. Not, with all due respect, a guy that Brian Kelly struggled to remember his name, Colby Richardson, a.k.a. Cody Dickerson. But you had a bunch of transfers in Jarek Bernard-Converse and Mekhi Gardner, who played well for LSU. And for whatever it's worth, LSU finished last season 32nd in the country in pass defense. Not terrible. That was 4th among SEC teams. A&M was number 1 in the country last year in pass defense. Kentucky was number 7 in the country. Bama was 17. LSU was 32. LSU was 4th best in the SEC in pass defense last year with 206 yards per game. Well, your entire secondary is gone now, except for LaTerrence Welch, who is a rising sophomore who hasn't played a ton, but we'll see what that role may be for LaTerrence Welch moving forward. But what Brian Kelly and his staff did was they went and hit the transfer portal hard and added 4 guys. They added 4 cornerbacks who in some way are going to have to be major contributors. You had Deuce Chestnut from Syracuse, J.K. Johnson from Ohio State, Denver Harris from Texas A&M, and Zy Alexander from Southeastern. Of course, you got Javian Toviano coming in, the freshman as well, that they're very high on. But I saw this today, and it made me go, As we keep sort of wondering which of these guys in this cornerback room are going to be the ones that step up for LSU, maybe it's Deuce Chestnut, the Syracuse transfer. Maybe he's the best bet. A lot of people mention Denver Harris because he was the 5-star. He was the top cornerback prospect in the country, the freak show athlete that everybody wanted, went to A&M, was a knucklehead, and now entered the portal and is at LSU kind of with his second chance. And maybe it is Harris. But when I talk to people about Denver Harris, generally the feeling is, man, great physical ability, but you could tell he spent his whole life playing man coverage because he was just a great athlete. He has to learn the position. So light bulb comes on, he learns the position. Maybe Denver Harris is that dude. He certainly is the dude with the highest ceiling, the most upside. But what about this year? Who's the guy that this year is going to play that biggest role for LSU? And maybe it's Chestnut, because he's the guy that's played the most and has the most skins on the wall. And 247 Sports did a piece where they ranked or graded out the best 3-stars from the 2021 recruiting class. So guys that are rising juniors that were 3-stars. So now that they've had 2 years of college behind them, who have been the best, most productive players from the 2021 class that were 3-stars? And Deuce Chestnut is on that team. In 2021, he was a freshman All-America and 3rd-team All-ACC. In 2022, he was honorable mention All-ACC. So and by the way, in 2 years at Syracuse, started all 24 games. So here you have a guy that has played a ton of football and has those skins on the wall. Whereas you've got other guys who maybe were more highly recruited coming out of school, but he's the guy that's actually done it at the higher level, at the college level. J.K. Johnson, 4-star, goes to Ohio State. Great program. Obviously, we know the types of defensive backs they've put out at that program. Johnson redshirted as a freshman in 2021, and last year played in 13 games, made 5 starts, but was sort of a contributor, but not a dude, not a key guy. And then Zy Alexander, of course, is the guy who's played the most, 31 games played at the FCS level. 2-time All-Southland Conference, and he was a second-team FCS All-American a year ago. So the two guys that have played the most are Chestnut and Alexander, but Chestnut's the one that's actually done it at the Power 5 level. So maybe he is the guy that you look at and go, that's probably your best scenario, most likely scenario, of a guy ready to step in and be a starter. And for what it's worth, I mentioned Texas A&M had the #1 pass defense in the country a year ago. LSU was 32nd. For whatever it's worth, Syracuse was 14th in the country in pass defense, where Chestnut was, as their best defender. Ohio State, where J.K. Johnson was 26th. Both of those defenses, pass defenses, were better than LSU's a year ago. And Chestnut was a guy who was a started every game and was their bell cow in that secondary. If I'm looking at a guy in this LSU secondary this year who might be able to step up and be the dude at corner that we're all looking around going, who might it be? I think that's your guy. I think it's Deuce Chestnut is the one that I would look at and say he's probably most likely. Brian Kelly, back in the spring, was asked about the experience level at cornerback and if they were comfortable with their experience level at cornerback. Here's what Brian Kelly had to say.
You know, we have a little bit of experience in a sense that these guys, you know, if you take Alexander and you take Denver, those guys have played some football for us. Chestnut's played a lot at Syracuse. So, again, I hear your question. You know, Garner coming in and Jarrett Bernard-Converse had a lot more experience. But I don't feel like we've put ourselves in a position where you're throwing freshmen out there either. So I think we're younger, where we're going to have a little bit more continuity and consistency at the position. And I think we've put ourselves in a position where we can develop this talent over the next few years.
Big question. Develop the talent over the next few years. Deuce Chestnut is draft eligible. J.K. Johnson is draft eligible. Zy Alexander is draft eligible. 3 of the 4 transfers I just mentioned are all draft eligible. The only one that's not is Denver Harris. Highest ceiling, you might get him for 2 years, we'll see. But yeah, you hope those guys stay and you can develop them. They're not one-year mercenaries. They all have a longer tail possibility in the defensive backfield. But if you're looking for which of the guy might be the most likely to step up and be the leader among the transfers in that secondary at cornerback, my money right now would be on Deuce Chestnut coming in from Syracuse. All right, it's after further review. Coming down the stretch here on a Friday edition. Love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Told you Dr. Blake Williamson did my LASIK 5 years ago. He could certainly help you out as well. Big shout out to Dr. Blake Williamson. I saw this on their social media, the Eye Center, Williamson Eye Center social media earlier this week. Dr. Blake Williamson has been named a fellow of the World College of Refractive Surgery and Visual Sciences. Pretty cool honor. And I tell you all the time, when it comes to ophthalmology in Louisiana, Dr. Blake Williamson is the trailblazer. He's the one that brings so many state-of-the-art techniques and practices to the state for the first time. He's just the best. I mean, that's why he goes all over the world lecturing and teaching at all these different events. It's the Williamson Eye Center. No matter where you live in the state of Louisiana, you want the best, you want the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or go to WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. One segment left to go from Pluckers on Bluebonnet, of course brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out our final break of the show, come back, and put a button on it here. Give you one final thought on the MLB Draft, which gets underway on Sunday. Rounds 1 and 2 on Sunday, and then on it's a 3-day draft. So rounds 1 and 2 Monday. Rounds 1 and 2 Sunday. Monday is rounds 3 through 10. By that point, you'll have a really good idea of what your roster is going to look like. And then Tuesday is rounds 11 through 20. And by that point we'll know a lot of the guys who we're looking at going, do you see Joubert, Milazzo, Travinsky, Cooper, Ackenhausen? They would be day 3 guys. So, but when we're back here on Monday, we'll have a much better sense of what LSU's 2024 baseball roster is going to look like. Okay, it is after further review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back to put a button on it next here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. I've been mentioning this. Go to getgordon.com. Not too late. Go to getgordon.com. The 8888 Reasons to Rally hats are available, and they are free at getgordon.com. So, of course, Gordon went to Rocco's up in Omaha, bought 8,888 rally shots after LSU lost to Florida 24-4. Kind of helped get some good vibes going again. And at the championship celebration, you saw all the members of the G team wearing the 8888 Reasons to Rally hats. So many people loved them. So Gordon said, we're going to order them. We're going to give them away. So you want one, go to GordonGives.com. Again, GordonGives.com, and you'll see right there on the homepage how you can register to get one of the hats as soon as they come in. GordonGives.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Hey, before we get out of here, got to remind you, tomorrow, UFC 290. I am fired up for it. Volkanovski, a prohibitive favorite. But Yair Rodriguez is always a threat, man. When you got a striker like that, you always got a chance. UFC 290, you want to bet on it? Official sports betting partner of the UFC. That, of course, is DraftKings. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Do it right now. Don't wait. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. If you are a new customer, make a $5 bet on UFC 290. Just $5. Make a $5 bet on UFC 290, and they will give you $150 in bonus bets instantly, y'all. I love every year on this weekend after the 4th of July, around the 4th of July, the UFC does International Fight Week. It is a major event in Vegas. It's a stacked fight card. They got events going on all over Vegas. That's this weekend. And, of course, make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. New customers bet just $5 on UFC 290. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. 2537.
All right, as we roll along here at the on the home stretch of After Further Review from Pluckers on Bluebonnet, here to benefit our friends over at Istrouma High. We appreciate Sid Edwards for joining us. Coach Eric Randall was with us a bit ago, and you know, I was moved like a lot of people have been, and I know Gordy's back here as well. Let's see if I get Gordy. Hey, Bo, see if you can get Gordy to run over here for a couple minutes, please. Thank you. Just as we wrap up here. Just to get a quick thought, because quite honestly, Gordy's the one who was the one who met with Sid first, helped put all this together. So I do want a quick thought from him as we wrap up. Final thing on the draft, again, round 1 and 2 on Sunday. Rounds 3 through 10 Monday, rounds 11 through 20 on Tuesday, so I'll have a much better sense. Again, the absolute latest is I'm checking DraftKings. As I'm checking DraftKings, the latest odds have Wyatt Langford from Florida expected to be the first pick of the draft. That's changed, but the reason, of course, is Langford looks like he's willing to make a deal to take less to go to the Pirates. So looks like Wyatt Langford, who's plus 140 right now, the betting favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. Paul Skeens, second best odds. Then Max Clark, the high schooler out of Indiana. Then Dylan Cruz at plus 500, fourth best odds to be the number 1 overall pick. Clearly, Pittsburgh looking to make a deal with the number 1 overall pick. All right, G. Rush joining us here on Side of Pluckers. How are you, G?
Hey, Scone. Good to see you, baby.
It's great to see you. We only got like 2 minutes, but
Sure.
I wanted you to jump on. And you were the one who you and Sid put this whole thing together with us being here today. I just wanted you to give a thought on the why.
I think the why is we have a license to service the community, and this came to my attention. And knowing a little behind the stories, and I'm sure you heard from Sid. I mean, they have cleats and have helmets. I mean, you're starting from scratch over there. So I'm thinking, and you and I talked from our radio station, okay, this year, how do we help Istroma? And then every year, how do we make this a tradition? We've had great fellowship of who's who, high school coaches here, and that's why we have this license to do it. So to help Istroma and to put this high school community together here in July, it's been good.
I know there's an online link for people to donate.
Right.
I know a lot of people came here today and donated as well. Best you could tell with Sid and talking to a lot of folks today, what else do they need right now still?
I think the basics. They need food. Anybody could help right now. You talk about nutrition programs to help those kids. I think he could, more than anything, I think support at the gate. These football programs need the community to come out on Friday night. And I think what he's trying to do is rejuvenate and get the people in 70805 back to the games. You know, having seen Denham, seen Central, the Central plays Denham, it might be a $20,000 gate. Those schools may not get $20,000 in their home schedule. So I think getting community support is important.
I think awareness and outreach has been key
Sure.
today. A lot of people are going to donate money. It's incredible you said they need food. You wouldn't even think of it, but I mean, I've heard stories some of these kids will call the coaches on the weekend just to say, Coach, can you get me a chicken sandwich?
Right.
Like, a lot of kids go to school to eat. That's not everybody. I'm not trying to say that, and Sid was very careful not to paint with a broad brush. Not to say that that's every kid at the school, but that does exist there. And I think, it's, you mentioned us as broadcasters and having a license, and that is our community license to serve. And I think it's something we probably all can do.
Well, you think about it, the kids of summer workout probably burn 800-900 calories. I mean, you got to go home and replenish it. And cane, I love canes, love Graves. You need more than just canes, and make sure you're eating the right things. You need kids to get bigger, and that takes dollars.
Yeah. If you can give, please do so. We got the links on all of our social media. I think they probably blew past their goal today.
Yeah, I think 25,000 was his goal. I know that people have come here, and, of course, thank you for Pluckers.
Yes,
always great partners.
We appreciate Steve. G, we appreciate it. Bo, thanks so much for everything today, man. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, got to remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows. How about that, G? Those thick old windows.
That's Brandon Holly. Not thick anymore. He's looking good. Skinny
No.
Brandon Holly.
Skinny
Playing
Brandon Holly.
weight Brandon Holly.
But thick windows.
Thick windows.
Over at Relief Windows.
That's right.
Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. I hear it almost every day. People are like, my energy bill. I mean, it's the heat.
It's unbelievable.
The feels like temp out today was 110.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? Your energy bills are going up. Not if you install energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. It'll make your home more energy efficient. You will save money on your energy bill. These windows, we had our home appraised after we had the windows installed. We got credit for those windows. It increased our home's resale value. Relief Windows or ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Check them out online, ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized SAV